This overload.
Welcome to Technically Speaking, the show for the technically challenged. I'm Stephanie, and today we're talking about some different types of toys, shall we say, or tools used in travel. And I have a terrific friend with me sharing the spotlight, Chip Fredella. Chip, thank you so much for joining us.
Stephanie, it's a pleasure to be here. And thank
Well,
you for
we've
having
known
us.
each other for what, 20 years now?
22 to be exact.
Well, 22 to be exact. Chip
Yeah.
is a math teacher at Zavarian High School, so numbers are a big thing. 22 years, you could probably tell me how many minutes, months, and days, too. No? Wasn't that good of a first impression then, huh? But 22 years, and how many trips have you taken in 22 years? 22 trips?
I wish. About half that number, definitely.
Yes, well, and you've been all sorts of places, and I know one of the things that you and I have talked about a lot over 22 years is travel, because you know I always have the travel bug, and I'm anxious to get in the car, get out of the city, get someplace. What are some of your favorite trips you've been on?
I was in Australia in 1995.
Ooh. And weren't you in Japan at one point?
1997 I was
Okay,
there.
I remember
Yes.
that. And do we do odd number years? Should I ask about 1999?
I was up in Maine.
Okay. That's
Still gorgeous up
It
there.
still qualifies.
It's God's country, if you want to call it that.
And you've been, I know, to Europe. You've been all over America. Do you have a favorite?
Europe, absolutely.
Really?
Nothing like European travel.
Oh, very nice.
No place like it. And the vacation that I took last summer was probably one of the best vacations I ever took in my life.
Oh.
Definitely the best European vacation.
Now, certainly being on the vacation is the fabulous part. But what about the planning? You like the planning part as well?
Planning's half the fun.
I think so too. And one of the things that you've introduced me to that I never heard of is this little gizmo, I'll call it. It's a GPS tracker. I remember when Chip first mentioned to me that he had a GPS tracker that he carries around on these trips so that he knows not just that he was at a particular city or in a particular location, but literally what roads he went down and such. This little thing that you're carrying, a Holux is the name, right?
It's a logger, yes.
Okay. And when you carry it around, I think you were showing me you can actually have this on an airplane. And it's tracking your altitude and your speed and such on an airplane, whether you're on a bicycle, walking, driving.
Any kind of motion whatsoever.
Wow.
It's tracking your trip.
This is amazing. And once you get home, I mean, I see that there's a little screen on here, and it would show me. Now, we happen to be, unfortunately, in an interior room here at the studio, so it's not getting a GPS signal. So I won't even bother showing you the little screen because it's blank at the moment. But if I were someplace else, right on the little screen, it would be showing me latitude, longitude, altitude, the speed I was traveling if I happened to be in a moving vehicle.
The distance that you're traveling, you can program it for distance.
Okay, so from point A to point
Yes.
B. So I can actually look at all those things on the Holux itself, and then when
During
I
the
get
trip.
home, or when I get to my hotel room or wherever, it connects to a computer program,
Yes.
which you're going to be showing us here, that's going to show us visually all the places we've been. Now, I had never seen this before you showed me this. Amazon?
Got on Amazon. And
Thank
it was
God.
A friend of mine introduced it to me about 6 years ago, and to be honest, Had he not introduced it, I probably would have never heard of
Yeah,
it. Because
it's so interesting. And for any of our
not
viewers who
popular
really
here.
love to travel, it's just a nice, a different way. We have photo albums, we might have scrapbooks. I always have a big map. You've seen the map in my house where I take a marker and I mark the whole trip route on a map, and I love that kind of stuff. But this brings it to a whole new level. So I see here on the map, I can tell immediately that we're going to Europe on this trip. Where were we going on this one?
this is a record of my trip to Switzerland from last summer.
Last summer, okay.
Yes.
And I see the dark purple line and the light purple line. One was coming and one was going?
The dark line was the trip going over.
Okay.
The light line was the trip coming back. But then what you got to do is you're going to zoom in a little bit closer because you see a series of flags now. And those series of flags represent various waypoints.
Oh, okay. So those
that
are
I've
all the
been
little
to.
stops that you made.
Yes.
Now, on the flight itself, what kind of information do we know about the flight itself from the tracker? Speed, altitude, can you show us that? Is that the exact route that you went on there?
This is the exact route of the flight. Like, let's say the flight coming back. So if you take the hand icon,
Okay.
move it over that light purple line.
Right.
Throughout the duration of the flight, if you click it on,
Oh,
you
I
can
see.
see at any given point in the flight how far into the flight you were, the current
Wow.
cruising altitude, like about 1 hour, 47 minutes out of Switzerland, you're over England. You're flying at about 511 miles per hour at an altitude of about almost 36,000 feet.
Look at that.
At that point in time, you're flying 53 degrees north latitude, 4 degrees west longitude. And if you keep the hand icon, you got to steady yourself now.
Yeah,
It's a
not
test,
easy.
Test your dexterity here. Now, as you steady your hand over
Oh,
it,
look at that.
as you're crossing the Atlantic Ocean, you can see the progress of your flight
Wow.
in terms of the altitude. Oh, there we go.
We lost our little other.
There we go. Okay, well, you can actually see a better record of it if you click on the selected trip. There's a series of trips, a series of
Okay, I
tracks
see them.
for the trips on the right-hand side of the screen. And if I want to track the trip from Zurich to JFK,
Right.
what I'll do is I'll click it on and highlight it. Now, you could click on the tab that reads Speed and Altitude View.
Oh, look at that.
At any given point in the flight, the average cruising speed was at about close to 558 miles per hour, where at any one given moment of time I might have been flying a little bit over 600 miles per hour at an altitude of just over 40,000 feet. From the beginning of the flight all the way to the end of the flight.
That's amazing. And that's not just, what the airlines generally do. That was what you actually did.
This is what the logger actually told me. This is the information that the logger recorded for me and communicated to me through the computer.
Now, you have to tell me something. When you
Yes.
have a logger like this, could you just leave it in your pocket and it will record, or do we have to hold it near a window?
I personally don't. I'm afraid to, because if I leave it in my pocket, I might lose the signal because
that's
it has
true.
to see the
It has to see the
sky.
signal. So some of our young viewers will not get this reference, but it looks a little like a roll of film to me.
Yeah, 35 millimeter roll of film. When you used to
Exactly.
take your film in to be developed.
Right, or throw it in the envelope,
the good old
and a
days,
week later
yeah.
they give you pictures. People don't remember those things. But if it needs to be near a window, now I could just picture you on an airplane. I guess you always get a window seat.
Always.
And you and I were looking at some people with a tracker on an airplane, and it would show that they were going 5 miles an hour, 10, 15, 20, and it would blast right up to 400 miles per hour.
It's amazing how the numbers just grow exponentially.
Oh, as soon
how
as they
just,
take
how
off.
they just move. They literally take off, just like the plane.
Now, if you're sitting there on the
Those
plane and
numbers.
you've got this tracker by the window, do you ever have any problems with flight attendants?
One time it transmitted to the cockpit, and she told me to turn it off. This was on a flight from Chicago O'Hare back to New York.
Oh, okay. So they saw you
Yeah.
sitting there with this little roll of film against the window. And
She
they
asked me
thought,
what it was, yeah. So you got to be careful.
yeah, well, you don't look very suspicious, but, I guess you never know.
You don't know me.
Right.
22 years isn't long enough.
It's not long enough to know you?
Just kidding.
I think I know you. I think I know you. So this is tracking our airline flight. Now, let's get off this view back to all those little trips. I guess once you were in Switzerland, you made lots of
waypoints.
little trips.
Yes.
You have any favorites? Look at all these trips. Luzerne, Bern, Montreux, Rheinfelden. Which is a good one? Any in the mountains?
Seeing the Matterhorn.
Ooh, the Matterhorn.
The Matterhorn, which I saw via the Gornergrat Railway. So what I'm going to do is
I see it there. Gornergrat.
I'm going to click where it says track name. This way it unchecks all of the different trips you took.
Okay.
Check on the trip that you want to see, that you want to reference. So we're going to click on Gornergrat Railway. Now,
down here in the bottom, August 21st, is that when you were there?
August 21st at 8 o'clock in the morning is when the train took off, and it arrived at its destination at 8:40, just shy of 8:48 a.m., just shy of 48 minutes.
What a fabulous record. Just to remember, I took that railway in a certain time of day. Oh, look at this.
We're zooming in with the mouse now. And as we zoom in with the mouse, you can see the circuitous winding route that the train took to get from level ground up towards the Matterhorn. And check this out. I'm going to click play. You're going to see a little
I see it.
Track of the trip. And by the way, each time that star pauses is when the train made a stop to pick up more passengers.
Look at that.
So it actually picks...
That's actually what happened on your trip.
Picks up stop time as well. There we go to the next one. There's a little symbol. You might not be able to see it, those of you watching, but a little square symbol. Actually, the square is a train icon indicating a train stop.
That's fabulous. Now, you said that this was at the Matterhorn. Can you put this in satellite view or something so we could see?
Let's find the Matterhorn first, because the Matterhorn is not exactly right a few feet in front of your point of destination. So I'm going to click on satellite, and voila. There we go.
Wow, look at that.
The beautiful terrain of Switzerland. It's like a picture book when you see it in person.
Even on the satellite view is amazing. So go back to where, so there's you're in the lower country, I guess. How high up did your trip actually go?
That particular trip, well, let's find out how high up that went.
Oh, 10,000 feet.
Went up as high as almost 10,000 feet to see the Matterhorn. Wow. Where at sea level, you were about, literally,
0, right?
360 feet at sea level. That's sea level if you put your mouse on that particular point. You start out at 360 feet, and you went as high as 10,170 at the peak.
So the train started in one spot and went up, 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 so that you can see all these beautiful mountains.
Yes.
Wow.
The fastest speed that the train traveled was just over 15 miles per hour. It's a nice slow ride, so you can really appreciate the fabulous scenery of Switzerland.
You know, no matter how many times I see the satellite view, I'm still blown away that they can do this. You know, it just amazes me that there are satellites that have actually taken a picture of every square inch of this planet so that we can see what the tops of the mountains in Switzerland look like. Isn't that a little amazing?
It's amazing when you see it in person.
Oh, I'm sure it's amazing to see it in person, but even to see it on screen. Could you zoom out just a little bit? I want to see a little more of the terrain here.
And by the way, when you get up there, make sure you're wearing a jacket. They give you hot chocolate when you're up there.
Oh, it's cold up there.
It's about 0 degrees Celsius.
Oh, I see where you are. Look at you. You're right smack in the middle of all those white mountains.
Yep.
Look at that. That is just amazing. Here, zoom back in again now that we're out. Yeah, you're right in the heart of the White Mountains. I love what a record this keeps of your travel. You know, it used to be you'd come back and you'd have a postcard of the Matterhorn, and but you could actually remember every single bend in the road and everything that you've done with the date and time to reflect back on. That's amazing. How about another side trip in Switzerland?
Lake Geneva in the coast of Montreux.
Oh, very nice.
If you know the song Smoke on the Water by Deep Purple, they are actually referring to a casino that burnt down right on the shores of Montreux. And I saw that casino, well, the rebuilt casino.
The rebuilt casino.
Because the casino burnt down sometime in the 60s because the song was done in 1973.
Right, right.
But I'm going to click on Chateau de Chillon because that's a castle right on the coast. So now it's taking you to another part of Switzerland, a lower part of Switzerland and a much warmer part of Switzerland, right on Lake Geneva. Here, let's
look at the lake.
Let's zoom out so we can appreciate the beautiful Lake Geneva.
Oh, wow.
Part of Switzerland. That's the French-speaking part of Switzerland, by the way. There's 3 different languages in Switzerland. There's French, there's German, there's Italian. I didn't see the Italian part of it at all, but the German part definitely was in the Matterhorn region, as through much of Switzerland was. But Geneva is definitely in the French-speaking part of Switzerland. But the highlight of Lake Geneva was Montreux. That was a boat ride, by the way.
Oh, I see. You were in a boat.
That was a boat cruise, yes.
Okay.
And there's a nice
look
zoomed-in
at you.
shot of that boat ride. Includes also, as a landmark, the statue of Freddie Mercury from Queen. Let's see if you actually see Freddie coming up.
That's so funny. Look, I see where it says statue of Freddie Mercury. That's hilarious. So that's the casino there,
The casino is a little bit further on.
I see swimming pools. I see all sorts of hotels.
Oh, hotels everywhere in that area. Also very nice McDonald's.
Okay, tell me you didn't go all the way to Switzerland and eat McDonald's.
Of course I did not. I'm just kidding. There's actually an apartment named after Freddie Mercury. But perhaps the pièce de résistance was the castle itself.
Is a castle a real castle?
Castle de Chillon, yes, an ancient historic castle.
Oh, I see your yellow route.
The yellow indicates the route that I took. Oh, by the way, at any one given point on the route that I took, let's see if it gives the stats of that. No.
It only likes you when you're in the air, I guess.
Oh, no, I think it likes me on water, too.
Oh, you were moving 14 miles per hour.
And the altitude was only 1,253 feet.
Okay, so you were on a lake.
On the lowlands.
But still up there.
Ah, there's our castle.
Oh, I see the castle.
There we go.
Look at that. So your boat ride went right past a real
right
castle?
to that I actually got off at the castle, and I literally walked along the avenue back towards central Montreux. So I took about a nice hour walk. It was really cool.
Look at that castle. Look behind the castle where they keep their boats. I love that little boathouse there. That's fun.
Not to mention the beautiful architecture of it, too. And now you see a little symbol there. That symbol where that hand is pointing is literally a train station.
Oh, okay.
Indicating a waypoint.
Look at this. I'm telling you, I've never seen such a fabulous record of a trip before.
And just as a nice little simulation of that trip, let's get a little play-by-play here. Where did I start? Yep, I started right on Montreux.
Okay.
Right on the harbor there. Are we taking a trip? Oh, maybe. Yeah, they have to count the time that we stopped.
There we go. There's the boat riding. Look at that. It's like reliving it all over.
Picked up some passengers along there. And then it headed towards the castle itself, which is where I disembarked.
And I see here in the bottom corner, it mentions the entire trip was 2.8 miles.
And just under 20 minutes.
And just under 20 minutes. Look at that. From 10:57 in the morning to 11:16.
And there's your speed and altitude view.
Wow.
And compared to the
Not a very big
trip,
difference in the altitude as compared to the Matterhorn.
The altitude was only 1,400 feet as opposed to almost 11,000 feet.
Yeah. How tall is the Matterhorn itself? Do you know? It was taller than you were. You weren't at the top of the Matterhorn. You were looking at the Matterhorn.
Well, it's literally taller than I am. I think it's taller than any of us are.
Well, you were at 10,000 feet, and it was still a taller mountain.
Yeah.
It's probably about 14,000 feet or
You're
so.
probably looking at about 14,000 or 15,000 feet.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. Absolutely amazing. Any city views in Switzerland?
Definitely. Zurich.
Okay.
Let's take a look at Zurich. Zurich itself. Let's look at the boat ride and maybe Lake Zurich and Rhine Falls, maybe.
Okay, let's take a look.
Along there, let's find that trip. Oh, there we go.
Oh,
There's
that's a city.
Zurich.
Oh, yeah,
that's
look at
definitely
you.
Zurich. That's the main street.
Right.
Bahnhofstrasse. That's the name of the main street in Switzerland, in Zurich, Switzerland. Zurich is not the capital city, but it's definitely the largest city of Switzerland. I was at the capital city of Bern also, but I mean, certainly you want to get a nice city view of it.
Yeah, that's a great city
I
view.
mean, you can tell by the map that it's by the dense population, it's a city view. And take a look at that harbor, how busy it is.
You were right through the water, too, so you took a boat ride and you were on the land. Is that correct?
Took a boat ride and I was on land, yes, indeed.
Look at that.
And by the way, that was a train ride.
Oh, is that what that is? That's
that was a train ride into central Zurich, and then from there, after disembarking the train, I took a little walk, and then, of course, so there's your train station right there.
Okay.
Get a good look at that train station.
Yes, look at that.
Right along Bahnhofstrasse. And then from there, I walked down the main street until I got to the harbor.
Right. And took the boat.
And then once in the harbor, I took the boat. Let's got to zoom in a little bit.
Oh, very nice.
There we go.
Much better.
Yes. Zurich Sea, that means Zurich River, literally.
Zoom in at one more spot so we can see the total trip all in one screen. There we go. Very nice.
What this tends to do, though, is it tends to merge the tracks. Like if the trips were taken within close time duration of each other,
right,
it tends to lump them together.
I can understand that. Can you turn this off and on to stop it and signify another?
I do turn
trip?
it off and on to stop it, but if it senses that the trips were taken within close proximity to each other,
right,
it lumps them together.
I can understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's still an amazing. Now, when you come home, you hook this up to your computer. I see all your trips are saved to a hard drive because you have 20 years worth of trips on here. Well, when did you get this?
2010.
Okay, so we have 6 years of trips saved on here so far.
Yeah, I take a cable, plug it into the USB port on the computer.
Right.
I open up the Holux Easy Tour. That's the name of the program.
Okay.
Yeah, just to get out of this, save changes. No. I'm going to get out of this now. I'm going to go to, just so you can see the program that we use for it.
Okay.
The program comes with software.
Oh, good.
The
this way
logger comes with software, but that's the name of the...
Right.
There we go. Try that again. Click the X by mistake. Happens all the time. Fingers move fast on the computer.
Yep. There we are.
Let's maximize the screen. But that's the name of the program that we use, Easy Tour. And then once you plug in your logger, you then click on this icon on the upper left-hand side, which literally says Read GPS Device Log.
Oh, okay.
And then read log only or read log and import photo. I usually keep my photos separate.
Okay.
I do photos the old-fashioned way.
The old-fashioned way. There's a lot of things I do the old-fashioned way.
I use Google Photos and I keep them on the
I'm even more
hard
old-fashioned.
drive.
I use actual maps when I go on tray vacation.
I've seen those maps.
Like paper, like unfold them as we go.
There's nothing like it. There's nothing like good old paper.
Just in case you're someplace that you don't have a signal, it's good to have a paper map with you. So where is the next trip to?
This time we're going to be staying in the United States.
Okay.
Death Valley, California, in Area 51.
Okay, you know I love Death Valley in Area 51.
And maybe since I'm going to fly into LA, maybe I'll also see Catalina Islands.
Okay, so you're going to be tracking the whole desert region.
Desert and the coast.
Very nice.
Cool off in the Pacific Ocean after traveling the desert.
And you'll track the airline flight to get there as long as they let you?
Oh, you betcha.
You know what you need to do?
They'll let me.
You need to have a pillow leaned up against the window so that way they don't bother you having the little thing, because I know when they announce you have to turn off all cell phones and all electronic devices, and although nowadays, are we even allowed to make a call on a plane? I've heard that some planes now have Wi-Fi.
Yep.
And so they're
you
not going to
pay for it, though, usually.
Oh, well, don't they? You have to pay for your luggage now, Chips, you know?
Not in the international airlines, you don't.
Oh, well, that's good to know. So shall I assume that this is your favorite travel tool that you use? Or do you have another one that's even better?
That's by far and away my favorite.
You know, not only is it your favorite, but I know that what I'm putting on my wish list before I go on vacation. Now, I know this is a tech show, but what's your favorite low-tech travel tool? without technology. Mine is a map, a nice, good old-fashioned folded-up map.
Rand McNally Atlas.
Love the Rand McNally Atlas.
I take it with me anywhere I go in the United States or Canada.
And I buy a new one every year just to make sure I get the updated, construction sites and pages and such. Now, I'm glad you said that, because you know that there are spots in Death Valley, and especially near Area 51, that you're not going to get a cell phone signal. So if you are relying on your iPhone or whatever to be able to use the map, they have purposely blocked cell phone signals, especially when you're near Area 51, for good reasons. I mean, it is an Air Force, a very secure Air Force base. So your cell phone signals are going to be blocked. That Rand McNally Atlas is going to come in handy. I usually use the phone and the paper one, and I'll compare to make sure that they agree, because they don't always agree. So you're a paper map guy. So when we're talking fancy tools, this is your favorite.
By far and away, yes.
We're talking low tech, it's a map. We have about 2 minutes left. You have a travel horror story with technology. Did it ever go bad?
Well, thank God, no. But I can tell you this. There's nothing that replaces having a good sense of direction, because you can't always rely on those GPSs, because
That's true.
I know one spot where if I literally followed the directions of the GPS, I would have ended up in the water.
Really? It was leading you right into the water?
It would have led me right into the water, and I knew right away. I said, this can't be. Based on the direction I was going, I said, this can't be.
Right.
So sometimes you have to rely on a sense of direction.
But you're right. I've been in the car.
Nothing replaces that.
And the GPS will say, turn right. And I'll say, I can't turn right. There's not even a street there, or it's blocked off, or it's a lake, or something else like that.
Or one of those faraway roads.
Count on your own sense of direction and mostly your own common sense.
Your travel instincts. That's what's got to take over when you travel.
I heard of a couple that were following their GPS, and it led them on these crazy roads. I think they, died in their car or something, or, came close to it. So, yes, follow your own instincts. Make sure you do know where your surroundings are. Develop a good sense of direction. And you can get one of these if you really want to clock things in. I like this. This is definitely on my wish list.
And it will work in Death Valley, and it will work in Area 51.
Well, I can't wait to see the map after this trip.
Neither can I.
Thank you so much for joining us, and happy travels.